All right. Good morning, everyone. Uh, Welcome back to the stream. Just taking a look at the charts here before the market opens. We got about 8 minutes. Looks like we got some pretty good movement overnight. Swept previous day high, came back down into the range, swept it again. Now it looks like we're moving lower. Not sure if there's any news that came out. Let's see. Nvidia's earnings looked like they were pretty good. Had some wild movement on Nvidia as well. So let's just keep our attention on NASDAQ. So we're moving below the Asia or the London range. So my thoughts today, since it's Thursday, I think we're going to be coming down for this Asia low here, where that blue line is. Make that purple actually. Did take a little trade last night on my take profit eval. You can see here I'm up 185 on that account this to start the day, but it was right in this area here. I had entered off of a break, excuse me, of this high. Not a break, but anticipating a break of the high running previous day high. Oh, stop was below previous day close. You can see that there. I was working late last night, so I didn't see this wick here. The one price pushed up and created that wick. Would have gave me a little bit more profit, but that's okay. But back to this morning. So off the open, we may see a push up to take out this area, this high, internal high, and then come down. You can see this is looking like it might be an SBS. So we'd expect price to come run that too, and then go down. Let's look on the 5-minute. It's a little bit wild on the 5-minute, but looking like something like this. Because this wick never ran that wick. But we shall see, we shall see. We are sitting below the 20 SMA on the 15. Yeah, so we may want to come down. That the 200 SMA is right where Asia low is sitting. It's looking like the 1 hour moving averages want to cross back to the downside. 4 hour candle is a giant red. So again, Generally, we see a continuation of this candle going into the open. But we're going to be patient. We're going to wait. Let's see what happens. We got about 2 minutes to the open. Price is looking heavy here. See what oil's doing. Oil's running up. VIX is kind of hanging out. YM's probably going to fly off the open because it wants to do the opposite of what its sister does here. All right, 1 minute to the open, everyone. Good luck. Be smart. Don't rush into anything. The higher time frames, 15 minute, 30 minute, an hour, they all swept the previous candle, pushing, if they start to push back up, you could see a little bit of a retracement up before coming back down. But with Thursday, market usually goes Monday, we're going up. Tuesday, we're going up. Wednesday, we're going up is the apex. And then Thursday, come back down. And Friday, we're usually in Monday's range. So we're right here Thursday. So let's see what happens. All right. Open in 1 second. Holy crap. All right. Well, we got a pretty pretty dramatic open there. We dumped and then we're pushing back up. Okay, so there's the sweep of that high. We're going to draw this again. So this is what I would be looking at. Excuse me. I'm gonna try it on my eval that I just got here. Oh geez, that is okay. Okay. Come on, give me a little bit of a retracement so I can enter. I was hesitating. Entry would have been around 216. See what this does. I would not want to enter there. Can't fail to get above that moving average. You know, we're probably going to be going lower. All right, I'm gonna get into a position with my eval. Stop. Take profit at 113. If this gets stopped out, that's fine. This is a fresh account, so it'll be a L on the day. First trade for this account. Give myself one more trade with it, and then we'll pack that one up. Move on to the next day. I would want to see that Asia low get ran. Just with how we've been moving overnight, you know, they want to get some more liquidity to go higher, is my guessing. SBS setup, so you know, let's let this play out. Let's let this play out. Nope, YM went down. That's surprising. RTY is going down. ES is going down. NASDAQ is being a little stubborn guy. It's alright. Alright, first trade on that eval. A little $190 loss. That's okay. It was enticing us. But it could just run that little wick high right there and then continue to push down. So let's see what it does. Right, Nasdaq just doing its own thing, just doing its own thing. Even though oil's going up, Nasdaq's going up too. It's kind of what we've been seeing. It's a little strange, but 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we may want to come back down and sweep that low. Just gonna be patient here. Excuse me. Looking a little heavy here. A little heavy. We did sweep. Technically, we swept the London lows because, you know, pre-market pushing up. So let's see if this wants to go higher. Is that 69? That'd be like a 30-point stop if we entered another short. All right, well, it's struggling to go lower, so you know, you know what that means. Probably gonna go higher. Might be targeting this area up here, then 292, 300 area. But if we can't push above this high, I want to see us go lower. I'm not gonna marry my bias though. ES looks a lot weaker. All right, let's try it again. If this loses, I'm gonna call it good on this account for the day, and we'll move on. Move on to the funded. All right. I know I'm entering another trade quickly here, but I'm just have a feeling that we're gonna be going lower. And if this loses, it's just another notch on the belt, another lesson learned. No big deal. We'll move on. Take profits down at 113. Unless there's some kind of tweet or news event or something that happens, we should see that Asia low get ran. Let's see what the position would look like just to visualize it on. All right, so that'd be 424 of profit and a 224 loss. Yeah, so that'd be my second loss for the day on the eval. Call it good there. If it comes back up and swipes me out, no big deal. Just you see that 5 minute bearish engulfing candle. You'd expect us to go lower, but Nasdaq's doing what it wants to. So, because what is this? What is this? Just a pump? We're just gonna do this, waiting for a breakout of the 15-minute opening range. That's smart. That's good. Being patient. Very, very choppy price action right now. Got my guy sitting right here next to me, just hanging out. Sorry, let me get this adjusted here. There we go. All right, we didn't make a new high. Lower high. Let's see a lower low, and we'll continue lower. Come on, Nasdaq. Don't do me dirty. And it's looking like it wants to do me dirty. That's all right. That's all right. That is all right. Come on, let's just see a quick bang, and then we can do the up thing. What's up? All right, we got 2 minutes for the opening range to be set. Looks like we kind of got our, a little bit of an idea of what we're going to be looking at. The 15-minute opening range. We got the high, we got the low. Now let me play a little music for y'all, because this is some AI music I made, so it shouldn't get taken down by YouTube by any means. See if y'all can hear this. Can y'all hear the song? Can y'all hear the song?
The charts are dancing up and down like neon lights in a buzzing town. Patience whispers, hold your ground. Swing high, swing low, it all comes around.
Is that song playing on the screen?
Sweet,
Can you hear that?
the zone, tap it slow. Wait for the prophet, let it flow. Swing to the high, dip to the low. Watch the green, watch it grow.
Just some AI music just about the market.
Algorithms hum like secret songs. They're playing the moves, but I play along. Zones light up where trades belong. One tap, one trade, I'm never wrong.
Just let that play while the market does its thing here.
The screen's a storm.
Yeah, and I'm okay with losing this trade because we're very compressed in this range. This is what the market likes to do: consolidate, 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 and it'll break out one way or the other. And then we'll consolidate, consolidate, consolidate. We'll break out one way or the other. It looks like a round robin bracket, kind of.
Watch the green, watch it grow.
What we do here? Looks like it wants to go higher. Looks like it wants to go lower. Looks like it wants to go sideways.
Candle flames, they flicker fast, but patience wins the race at last.
Okay, they made a lower low, lower high. Let's see it fail this. Let's go lower.
The zone's the truth, the die is cast.
It's kind of dying, so. Is that better? Can you hear me better now? Turn it down a bit. And there's more where that came from. Let's get another one going. Not that one. Not that one. This is another good one. This is another good one. Alright, can you hear the music now?
The ticker's tapping, the price is moving slow. Shots are dancing, a market show. Waiting for Picasso to paint the trade. In the chaos comes where profits are made. Oh, the highs, the lows, the rhythm flows. Patience is the art that every trader knows. Let the price come to you, don't chase the flame. Trade the zones, not the noise, it's a patient game. No smoke with the macro at 350's call. Play it sharp, play it cool, that's how you'll have it all.
Alright. I have those songs up on my YouTube too, so if you guys wanna listen to them, they're up there. Uh, but we're making lower lows, lower highs. Let's see this. Just come on. Let's see a little bit of a sweep. See a little bit of a sweep. Show me something. No, not that way. Not that way. Very, very small opening range this morning, about 90 points. What's good old green doing here? Wow. Nvidia, had a nice little spike up, and then they're coming down. So we need to see the Mag 7 continue to push lower if we want Nasdaq to go lower at all. Come on, Nasdaq. Not really doing much here. We're just kind of chopping around, but we are, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. Let's see this low get ran. If we don't, we'll probably see some support, and if this high gets ran, we're gonna be going up. It's okay though. It's okay. Anyone take any trades yet? Sitting on your hands? Well, how's everyone doing this morning? I know we're only about 20 minutes into the market, but still like to ask. Kind of hanging out right around my entry. Nice. One trade for 10 points, short winner. Good. Yeah, I'm in at 29,219, and that was about, dang, that's 40 points. 80 to 19. It's about 39 points. Not bad, not bad. I'm in with 2 micros on this trade, so I'd like to let the trades run, give it room to breathe, especially when I'm trading with micros. If you're trading with heavier size, get the 10 to 20 points, get out. That's really all you need, per trade if you're trading with some heavier size. All right, another lower high, lower low here. We need this next low at 180 to be ran. Nope, that is not what I wanted to see. All right, well, this short's cooked. Oh, it didn't stop me out, but that is not a good sign there at all. Yeah, I'm cutting that. Cutting that for a $130 loss versus a $220 loss. So that account's done for the day. I'm gonna if I lock it, it'll lock both accounts. So I'm down 330 on the day on that eval. That's fine. Had my trade idea, had the trade setups. They just didn't work out. I cut that early. If this goes and runs down lower, I'm not gonna chase it. That's fine. Rather cut my loss, accept the L, then try to chase and take another loss. So there had to have been news or something that came out. Yeah, see, would have gotten stopped out there. So cut it for the. Let me update that position tool. I cut it at 29,253. So it is what it is. Pushing above the 15-minute opening range high here. If this fails, um, you know, I've been saying it all morning. We're gonna go lower. But if this pushes above, closes above, and then retests, we could be seeing a move up. But this isn't too ideal. Like you don't want to force trades in this area because we're not really moving. Yeah, there had to have been some kind of news because oil saw a massive, massive move to the downside. All right, we're pushing through 15-minute opening range high and the previous day close. We do have this imbalance here. Let me get this out of the way. This massive imbalance here that we may see a move up, to get this filled in up to 360. Looking very, very strong though. But as you can see here on the higher time frames, that wick that I was talking about, the wick low, how we swept and we're pushing up, that's generally a sign that the market, if it holds above on the 5 minute, and the 15, we're generally going to see a move up to take out some liquidity up higher. So let's see what we do here. If we come down and retest this 15-minute opening range high, that might be a good opportunity to long. Um, it's just a matter. Oh, there's the retest. It's just a matter of where do you put your stop, right? So I'm just putting this on the chart, not necessarily jumping into this position right now. But in an area like this, excuse me, you'd want to see like you either want to use like the moving average or a wick, not a wick, like a body of a candle. You know, this is like see, but with the way that we're moving, the amount, the ATR, it's kind of a wide stop. So definitely want to wait to see this hold over 15-minute opening range high to consider longs, but it is retesting that area. Let's see how this candle closes. All right, we tapped it. All right, I think I'm gonna go long after this candle closes on my funded, shooting for that 360 area that I was mentioning. Probably go for 350, just because I like to use market structure as, price targets, and that's an low level of resistance right there. All right. Not entering anything yet. I'm staying patient. Last time I got giddy about the 15-minute opening range. Retest, we took a L on ES. So let's just see what it does here. Let's see what it does. Let's be patient. Let's not try to jump into any trades just because. Because this may give us a nice fib geometry setup to run lower like I was expecting at first. We are seeing the moving averages cross to the upside on the 1 minute, but the 1 minute, doesn't really tell the story. It's more so just noise. 15-minute, we're wicking back down. Okay, that is it. I'm gonna get in long on my funded. Let's see this close bullish. Don't like that. All right, I'm getting in with 1 micro on my funded. Stop loss is gonna be at 220, 227. 227.25. So we're going to keep it right there, right at like 240, 238, just to limit risk. And in case this wants to come back down, we shouldn't see it fall below that wick right there if we want to see price move higher. So, just protecting capital. Take profit's going to be right at 350. But this is looking very, very strong. So I'd expect to see a move up. Move up. There we go. We got the 1 hour range set. Bounced off that 50%. Let's see if this can hold. Come on, don't do this. That 1 hour candle closed nicely. We got a nice bottom wick on the 5 minute. I'm gonna move my take profit down to the wick high right there because that's just I like playing sweeps. That's my personal preference. So I cut it for $46. I know I'm a little scaredy pants, but you can see with how volatile it's been this morning. I just don't want to risk it. Do not want to risk it. That was 26 points right there. Entry was 81, exit was 305. Damn, that entry was terrible. 81? Okay, negative RR. That's cool. Um, but that's a win. It's 46 bucks. Generally we'll see a sweep and a retracement. So if anything, I can always get back in long. But just remember the area I had marked for my take profit was 350. Let's see if that gets ran. Probably will. The market likes to do that whenever I get out of my positions. So let's see. But that was a good test of the 15-minute opening range high. We wicked back above. Good sign we're going to be moving higher. So up $50 across all accounts. Nice. Good job. That's a win. Yeah, we're going to be pushing higher. See, when that happens to me, whatever, cut my trade early, take profit. How can I get mad when I got this little guy hanging out with me? Just laying on my hand. It's all part of the process, though. I'm very conservative with my funded accounts. When I see profit, I take profit. Excuse me. Well, that was a nice push up. Would have gave us about 35 more points of profit. It's okay. I'm not mad about making money. Even if it is $46, I'm going to show you guys my Lucid funded calendar here, just my P&L calendar, just to show you that, base hits really do stack up. Started trading this on, what is that, April 17th. Just going for $50 to $100 a day, not looking for anything extravagant. Limiting my losses to $100 to $200 because eventually, with the base hits, I will get to a buffer and get a payout. Oh. So we swept that opening hourly candles high. You can see we were pushing back down into that range. We're wicking, top wicking on the 5-minute. And this is why I like to take my profit. I know that it could just be a retest and we could continue higher, but the wicks, I don't like the wicks. And I'm saying wicks, not VIX, for anyone who may have a question about that. You can see the moving average is crossing the 1 hour overnight, and we came back down and retested that area. May want to see a push up. The 4 hour wicked super hard back up. We were looking pretty bearish there off the open. And I like to think of my positions like I'm trading minis. Even though I'm in with one micro, I like to look at it. Okay, if I was trading a mini, just to condition myself for when I am able to scale up to that size. Sure, this is negative risk to reward. Yeah, this would be an $800 loss. But on the flip side, 24 points, what is that? Hi. 420, like 450. 5 point, yeah, $450. You know what? Let's do some math because, again, I'm not very math oriented in the morning. Let's see. 520. Okay, yes, or 24 points. Sorry, 480. So it'd be a little under $500 for that small move, But especially if you're playing with minis, you don't want to overstay your welcome by any means because you can get wrecked. Hell, even if you're playing with five micros, I trade 1 to 2 micros on the 25. I prefer the 25K accounts, so you got to just be able to survive. I don't want to take 2 trades and have to reset the account or buy a new eval. My goal for myself this year was to limit the amount of evals that I'm buying, and I've done significantly well with that. I haven't been churning accounts nearly as much as I was last year. So a lot of people want to set big goals for themselves in their trading journey, which is fine. I'm not saying not to set big goals, but you got to set the stepping stones to get to those goals. And that's generally a series of smaller goals and habits that you have to form to get to those bigger goals. Like, yeah, I want to be trading, minis, but what's the first step of that? Is managing risk on a small account, taking the base hits, learning that this is okay. This is okay. You don't need to be, you know, this doesn't need to say $570, 500, 5, that you just move the decimal over one place. That's where you'll be if you can stay consistent and scale your way up to trading minis. So set your goals, set your big goals, have your eyes on the prize, but also make sure you're taking those little steps daily to form the habits you need to get to those bigger goals. And that's what I'm doing with the account churning, not churning accounts, not buying resets or new accounts, learning to manage my risk. You got to survive. You just got to survive in the market. You can win all you want, but if one loss takes out your wins, that's tough to get back. It's tough to get back out of that. So okay, so we came down and retested the 15-minute opening range high, the 30% of the 1 hour range, first hour candle. So we could see a move back up here to that 350 area. I have to learn how to manage risk better. Yeah, I do too. There's days where I tilt, and I'll give you an example. Yesterday on my take profit eval that I was up $250 on. Oh yeah, we're seeing a nice move up. This was yesterday afternoon. I took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 losses in a row because I couldn't accept the fact that I got wicked out of my positions, and I ended the day down $70 from after being up $250. And after one of the last trades I took, I felt myself like, man, I need to get that money back. I need to get back up to $250 in profit. And I was this close to just sizing up, going 5 micros or 10 micros, one mini, trying to get it back, but the market didn't do anything after that. The market did this. It was ranging. It was ranging in between these trend lines all afternoon. And it just wasn't going my way. So what did I do? I locked the account. Walked away with a $70 loss, accepted the fact that I messed up and, gave my profit back, but it's better than blowing the account or digging myself deeper into a hole. So it's all part of the game. All part of the game. Yeah, this is looking like it just may want to just grind up. We may see a nice, little quick flash move up to the upside, and this is why earlier I said I'm not going to marry my bias, after getting stopped out of the short, closing the short early, because old habits, I would have just said, no, keep shorting it and trying to force the market to go down. But you got to go with what the market's giving you. Market is a living, breathing thing. Whether you look at it that way or not, you'll learn to realize that it is, because sometimes it feels like the market's out to get you. But we're trading, simulated accounts, simulated money. Market makers can't see our orders. It's literally human psychology embodied into an indice. That's what NQ is. Because where would shorts put their stop loss if they were shorting down here, up here? Where did we run? Right up there. That's kind of like how I like to view it, is that when I'm entering a trade, I also like to think, okay, where's everyone else putting their stop loss? And then where do I put it so that I'm not part of the everyone else? And I still can't figure that out, because 9 times out of 10, I am everyone else. Like this is yesterday. This is a flash wick on MNQ that didn't necessarily happen on NQ. I was in a long position and my stop loss was 58. Price came down to 57.5 and then ran back up. And I would have been in profit if I didn't get stopped out. But I was sitting there like, what the heck? Like, it just had to get my stop before going up. But it's not, that's not how it works. You know, it's just, it's how the market moves. Okay, we're seeing a nice rejection here. You can see the higher time frames. We wicked above the previous candle high, and we are pushing back down into the range. Could not fail, could not get above the high that was put in on this wick. So we may see a move all the way back down to 15-minute opening range low. It's going to be a trade idea. And since I have a new eval, I know I said I was done trading it, but the trade ideas that I've put on the chart the last couple days and I haven't taken, those have been the ones that worked out. So I may give this another attempt, and then that will be my last trade of the day. Again, I am a fan of taking base hits. I made $46 on my funded account. That's like $50 is my base goal for the day on my funded account. Because my goal is to work my way up to 25K funded accounts, and then taking $50 to $100 profit a day on those across 5 accounts. You know, that really scales once if you can keep that consistent. So we're done with the funded. Let's give the eval another shot here. I didn't enter a position, don't worry. I didn't enter, but like, see what I mean when price will do what it wants. Price will do what it wants. So let's see. That was a nice little flash up. Mag 7's moving down. VIX is climbing up. Oil's climbing up. So we should see it move down. But again, NASDAQ is kind of being squirrely today. ES seems to have a little bit more of a structure going. So I'm going to just draw this, the fib geometry setup here on ES. That would have given us entry on ES for the fib geometry. Off that peak into the 100%, we wicked up to the 50%, and now we're moving back down. So not sure if it would do the same on NASDAQ, but it would have. Wow, that is a nice dump. And what did I say? The trade ideas that I don't take generally work out. So that is another one to add to the books, but that's okay. If we see a little bit of a retracement here up to like the 50%, I'm going to put one on at 244. If we can get back up there, I'll move it down to 243. Okay, we are really struggling here. Really, really struggling. And excuse me, I have the sniffles this morning, so. All right, tag me in. I'm on the eval. Okay, I'm on the eval.
Order filled.
All right, tagged in. There's a retest of that 50%. Even though this was the 50% because we just peeked through that 100 and it said nope. Archer, come on, buddy. You can't play with my mouse. Would have been a good area to add based off the fib. So we're going to leave that position on the chart because that was the idea. I'm going to put the fill that I got based off of a retest of this 50% of the 1 hour, the first hourly candle's opening range. My target's still the 15-minute opening range low. My stop loss is 280, a little bit above 280. That's right above previous day close and above the 15-minute opening range high. So if that, if we push back up there and I get invalidated, that's a perfect area for me to say, okay, we're most likely going to see move to the upside, which is okay. That's again, you see a setup, you put your risk on, you define where your trade gets invalidated, and you let it go. And if you lose, you lose. This will be my last trade though, last trade of the day. I'm gonna wrap it up after this, just to lock in a good day in the market. Couple losses, nice little scalp here on the funded. Good trade idea. That the entry at 269 would have given us about 70 points of profit. But again, I don't like to live in the shoulda, coulda, woulda, because that's how you just stay in the past. That's how you stay stuck on what, oh, well, I did this, could have did this. No, you just gotta do it. Just gotta do it. Come on, baby. There we
Order
go.
filled.
I love and hate you, NASDAQ. All right. So we are out of the hole a little bit in that eval. Let me previous day close 29,358. So I have previous day close automatically put on my chart by TradingView. If you go to the scales and lines tab and you go to previous day close here, you can set it. And let me show you, because let me move this up a little bit. So I like to put my own line over the previous day close. But yeah, if you go into your settings and scales and lines and then go down, you'll see previous day close line. You can see the little dotted line back here turning on and off, and that'll automatically plot the previous day close for you, because I had some trouble with plotting that on my own. So I found that to be very helpful because I was doing it wrong. But let me show you this. So the fib geometry setup hit. It looks like we're going to London low like I originally anticipated. Let me get rid of these real quick. So you can see here fib geometry. Man, that is a chef's kiss right there. So fib geometry, we'll do a little crash course. The fib geometry setup is when there is a sweep of an internal or external high. In this case, we had an internal high sweep of the 1 hour, first hour's opening range, or candle, first hour candle of the session. We swept. First pullback was 50% retracement. That's the second requirement, is that the first pullback needs to be at least a 50% retracement. From there, if the low breaks, we draw a trend-based fib from the high to that swing low to the next, swing high of the retracement. And then we wait for price to go and break through the 100% fib extension. And from there, we take the fib tool and we draw it from the third anchor point down to the low that broke through the 100%, which in this case was this little wick right here. Zoom in. This little wick right here. So that was the fib geometry setup right there. And then the entry model is, let me hide this too. The entry model is a retest The second pullback, you enter on the 50% of the second pullback. That would be entry. Stop loss is above the third anchor point, and then your take profit is down at the 261.8 extension. And that all happened so fast because I was messing around on ES like, hey, oh, it did give a fib geometry setup, but I didn't have that drawn out once I saw the first pullback happen. But that would have gave a perfect entry at 286. Take profit hit at the 261.8 extension, and that's 143 points of profit. So I like to leave the fib geometry setups on my chart just so that I can see, okay, this one worked, this one didn't. But yeah, I mean, even the trade idea that I gave that I wasn't able to get an entry on at 268, the break of the opening range high, my entry was about 20 points lower. Still kind of same concept. I can still, see the fib geometry setups on the chart without necessarily plotting them. So that's, another reason trade idea would have given us the fib geometry would have given us a better entry, but still, either way, it worked out. We got some money back on the accounts. Let me get this adjusted so you can see the full. So the top accounts, the funded, the bottom accounts, the eval. That eval was down $330. So, I'll take the $140 win to bring me out of the negative a little bit. And from there, I don't need to push it. I don't need to push to get that loss back because my risk tolerance on my 25K accounts is $200. And sure, I broke my rule. I let that get above the $200 mark and get me into 330 in the negative. That's fine. But I saw my setup, I trusted my trade, I took that trade, and now I don't need to push it because if I push it, that's when I start to lose more money, and then I'm more red, and I'm more mad, and I revenge trade. So that's good. I mean, 2 losses could have been 2 wins, but 1 win for 71 points. What is 71 points if you scale up to a mini? What is that? That's $1,400, right? It's all about the mindset, about how you view things, about scaling. Because yeah, sure, that was one micro. 2 micros would have only, that would have gave me $280 in profit. So I would only be down about $50. That's fine. But I don't need to push it to try to get that all back in one trade, one day. Tomorrow's another day. Tomorrow's Friday, yay. And yeah, we live to trade another day, That's okay. My Lucid account, the funded is sitting at a balance of, excuse me, $25,768. I need to, well, I don't need to, but the buffer is 26,100 for that, before I can start taking payouts above the buffer. So I'm about $330 away from the buffer. I mean, it might take me a week to get there. It might take me 2 weeks. It might take me 2 days. But it's all about showing up, trusting your setups, managing your risk, taking the trades when you see them, and the money will follow. The money will follow. So yeah, the trade idea that I had that I couldn't get entry on was 96 points. The trade that I actually took on my eval, and I didn't just enter, once I saw price waterfalling, I set a stop limit at the 50% of the 1 hour first hourly candles range. It tapped me in. I had my risk defined, and then I got 70 points out of it. That's a win to me. Even though I'm red on one account, I won today because I managed my risk. And then just so everyone can see, when I have a winning day, when I'm doing good, and I've, say, okay, I won for the day, this is what I do. Lockout. Lockout. So that account is now, or those two Lucid accounts are now locked until the Asia session opens this afternoon. I cannot trade on these if I wanted to. So that's a really good feature of Tradovate. We came about 16 points away from running that London low. So again, my initial bias was correct. Entry was early. We just needed to get rid of this. These equal highs here that were formed overnight, which is fine. That'll happen. I'm early a lot of the time, learning to be more patient and just not jumping into trades when I think a setup's there. So that's good. It's a good day. I'll draw a little box here just to show you. So we wanted to run the highs here that were formed, this level of resistance, push through, and it couldn't find support, and that turned back into resistance to send us lower. But again, as you can see, $46, that's where I'm comfortable. I say 50 to 100, but it's really like 40 to 100. Some days, you know, a little $21, but when the market conditions are terrible and I'm not feeling comfortable trading, I'll take $20 to $25 and walk away. I mean, that's money, right? Like that's $20 to $25 I didn't have the day before. So, and I said this yesterday, but my bank account doesn't care about how small or how big the wins were once that payout hits my account. See, and that's a good area for me to call it a day because, you know, fib geometry gave us a good setup that, you know, obviously didn't take, but it was there. The trade idea that I had about level to level, going 15-minute opening range high to 15-minute opening range low, that worked out. The trade I actually took worked out. And what are we doing now? What is this? What is that? I'll tell you what that is. That is a barcode. That's what we call a barcode. If we take this, tell me the difference between these two pictures. You can't. So, but when the music was playing earlier, I believe someone had mentioned that you can't hear me over the music. But what I was saying is the market likes to move sequentially. So like here, here, that's consolidation, right? So the market likes to consolidate, expand in one direction or the other. And after that expansion, we generally see consolidation and a retracement. Going the other way, consolidation, expansion to the downside, consolidation, retracement. Market doesn't like to go straight up or down. It likes to move in those cycles. So if you can remember that, consolidation, expansion, retracement. Consolidation, expansion, retracement. You'll be set. You'll be able to notice that throughout, you know, your trading journey. Because like what did we do here? Consolidation, expansion, retracement. Retracement, right? And this is also a good SBS setup because we have the move origin over here. Price expanded, it retraced back down into the move origin, failed to get below that move origin, and then it went back up and ran the high. And then what did we do? We consolidated, we expanded, and we consolidated. So you'll see that. You'll see that if you can just start try to noticing those patterns, that's what the market does. It squiggles and then it goes up and then it can squiggle some more, and then it'll retrace, and then it can squiggle, and then it can squiggle, and then it retraces, and then it can squiggle. You know, you get it. It's not a definite, oh yeah, this is what the market does, but that's the pattern: consolidation, expansion, retracement, consolidation, expansion, retracement, which is something I had to really drill into my head, because after the consolidation and the expansion, I would look for a continuation of that expansion, and then I would be buying at the top like this, right, with the stop loss down here, and then it retraces, and then I'd get stopped out and I'd get mad. Oh, I bought the top. Oh, I sold the bottom. No, I did. Well, yes, I did buy the top and sell the bottom, but you know, that's, I was entering at that point in the market structure, the market system, or the market sequence, that it was, I should have been expecting a retracement, and that's part of the game. That's part of the lessons. That's another thing that I really learned last year, that I've really taken into this year and applied well. So I'll get off my soapbox. You know, took my trades, locked my accounts, so just trying to give some commentary here, but I think I'm gonna wrap it up here, get ready for work, call it a day. You know, had a decent session this morning. Let me get back to this. You know, we had a little green day on the funded, little red day on the eval. Let me get into my take profit account just so I can show you the profit there. And we're up 185 in the take profit eval. I'm pretty close to passing this one. About 800 or 750 away from passing, so we're halfway there. But that's, I didn't even show you guys that. Sorry. There you can see it. 185. I'm at 25,666. So yeah, about 750, 740 away from passing. And I took a win in the Asian session on this account, and I'm good there. You know, don't need to push it. Don't need to push it at all, especially with that open was disgusting. We caught a nice move. If you won and you're green, call it a day. But other than that, I may be on later this evening to go over these trades, just do a little quick trade recap. It helps me for the next day, you know, helps me recognize my analysis on a fresh mind, not in the midst of the market moving. So I may be on later this evening, but if I'm not, I will be back on tomorrow, hopefully around 6 a.m. Pacific time. But yeah, I hope everyone has a good day, and stay safe out there in this market.